car!
No. Look, Doc, I just got here, okay? Jennifer's here. We're gonna take the new truck for a spin.
Well, bring her along. This concerns her, too.
Wait a minute, Doc. What are you talking about? And what happens to us in the future? What, do we become assholes or something?
Oh, no. You and Jennifer both turn out fine. It's your kids, Marty. Something's got to be done about your kids. No! In the face! In the face!
Where were you? Photographing squirrels? You're fired.
Chief, the planetarium party.
Oh, right. You're unfired. I need you. Come here.
You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you. Not listening.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. This guy, man, he's not human.
You think you could steal from us and just walk away?
Yeah.
It's another episode to Get a Load of This Movie, a franchise movie podcast where we talk about movies that are part of a franchise. And yes, we just keep going. They keep sending us cease and desist letters, but we don't listen. We're not going to stop. You cannot stop. The people want this. And so we're going to keep giving it to them. We're going to keep talking about franchises. We're going to keep talking about movie franchises because the people are clamoring. I had to nail my door shut because people wanted to just hear me talk so bad. They were just beating down my door. I don't know if you've experienced that, Zach, in the City of Stars out there, but I know you're just a big fish in an ocean out there. But I mean,
now that my roommate is out of town for a month, I think if I died, no one out here would know.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't recognize it until like the episode is like late to be uploaded. We'd be like, Zach, you didn't upload.
What are you doing, buddy?
Didn't upload the episode.
I get texts like, you better be fucking dead, man.
Well, we're talking about movies today. We're actually talking about 2 movies, in fact. We're finishing 2 movies? We're actually finishing off our Back to the Future discussion with Back to the Future Part 2 and Back to the Future Part 3. We're giving it the happy ending it deserves. But yeah, I don't really have too much. Did you guys have anything for the trailers? Anything that we're excited?
I got something.
We came loaded for bear. I love this.
Well, Cole always has one, so I'll let Cole go first.
So recently we lost a juggernaut in wrestling in Hulk Hogan, not a great man off screen, but
I knew there was a go-around question I forgot about.
I mean, some of the interviews,
it's a pretty simple one.
But I wanted to know, there are 3 major wrestlers turned actors working in Hollywood, 3 mainstays. John Cena, Dwayne Johnson, and Dave Bautista.
Why do you hate Tyler Mane?
He was a wrestler?
I honestly am just assuming that because he's so big.
Anyway, he would not be my favorite.
Who out of the big 3 is your favorite?
Cole, do you want to answer first?
I can admit Dave Bautista is the best actor. I will say that unequivocally.
Jason Momoa,
there's a butt coming. You can feel it coming.
But I think
ones
I love watching, John Cena has slowly crept his way up the ladder. I think he's so funny as Peacemaker.
Did you see his new movie?
Movie? Yeah, his Idris Elba movie. Yeah.
Head of State.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. They play off each other well. I really enjoy John Cena as an actor. But Zach, Corey, your favorites?
I think that Dave Bautista was first introduced, at least for me, as an actor in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and Drax was a funny character, got funnier as it went on, but also still had that emotional depth that we talked about on those episodes. But I think the best example I can have for Dave Bautista as my pick is literally just the depth he gives to that character in one scene in the beginning of Blade Runner 2049, with his tiny little glasses on such a big man, when he's playing that replicant that Ryan Gosling is there to dispatch. Yeah. Either way, so Dave Bautista is my pick. I mean, I do agree with you though, Cole. John Cena's also gone up astronomically in my list. Peacemaker, his character in the show and Suicide Squad, I think kind of a similar thing to Drax, where goofy character. has emotional depth, though, once you actually get underneath the surface. Not a bad selection there either.
It's a very different emotional depth.
So, Corey, will you even things out and take The Rock?
I'm going to take The Rock. No, I really forgot that there was a go-around question, so I didn't really prepare. But Dave Bautista's mine, just because of the scene that I always think of when I think of Dave Bautista, is the scene in Dune where he says, "Rats!" You know, when he's yelling and he's like, kill them all! And he's like slamming that guy's head into the... That's a good scene.
Dune Part 2. I know it well. The last rats carries over into the next scene as an echo.
Yeah.
It's really no, I can picture it completely.
Yeah. So I really like it. I don't think The Rock comes close with movies like Black Adam, and he is really funny. He is really funny. I think of movies like Tooth Fairy that he's in that like it probably aren't very good, but he's still got comedic charm in it. Like I brought up Black Adam, but he's not very.
Why
good.
do you hate Jumanji: The Next Level?
Well, I was gonna say Jumanji and those movies that he's in are kind of good movies that he's in, but it doesn't even hold a flame to what Dave Bautista does, you know? So like he could be an entertaining actor. I think that's a different question than who's the best or who's your favorite, because who's the most entertaining.
The Rock was great before he started
really
playing
bulky.
The same character in every single movie. I would say like after Jumanji: The Next Level, there was just a period where he was just the same guy in the jungle in every single movie, and it kind of...
That scene.
I actually really enjoy him in the Jumanji movies, though.
Yeah, he's good.
I love when he has to play the nerd, or in the... What's the one after Next Level?
Welcome to the Jungle?
I think so, yeah.
Isn't that it?
No, Welcome to the Jungle is the first one. Next Level is the second one.
Yeah, where he has to play Danny DeVito. I think that was a fun thing.
Huh? I do stuff like that. It's good.
Spencer?
Can't say I caught those films, or the second one. I did see I did see the original of the new Jumanjis.
The original of the
new. Don't need to think too hard about it, guys. Chappell Roan has just released her new song. When I say just, I mean like literally like 25 minutes ago.
Haven't listened to it yet.
Called The Subway. So my question is, what are your top 3 Chappell Roan songs?
Can I go first? I want to go first. I'm going to go first. Number 1, Red Wine Supernova.
That's a good
that one's.
Ooh, he's coming in hot.
I'm gonna say. This feels so dumb now, because I was just gonna say the big 3. I was gonna say Red Wine Supernova, Hot to Go, and Pink Pony Club. Actually, no. I want to change Hot to Go. I'm gonna switch it with Feminine Nomenon.
Feminine Nom.
Look at this guy.
What? A Feminine Nomenon.
So
a favorite of my nephews.
Zach's nephew can sing the whole thing. Carvey Dent, as they call him on the streets.
Cole, why don't you go ahead?
I am going to go... You actually really put me on this one. Casual. Casual is probably my top Chappell Roan song. And then I'm going to go Red Wine Supernova and Pink Pony Club.
I can't say I'm familiar with Casual.
Whoa, man.
Corey, it'll change.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Some of the lyrics on that one. I fucked you in the bathroom when we went to dinner. Your parents are at the table and you wonder why I'm bitter. It's about a casual relationship that she wants to be more than casual, and she's upset that it just hasn't taken that step.
Well, don't spoil the thing for me.
Zach, we're driving down the streets of LA, and Zach is just screaming Chappell Roan on the way to taking me to the airport.
She released, since we're talking about Chappell Roan, she released a world tour, or was it a world tour, or was it, or a USA tour?
This is going to ruin the tour.
What tour? It was
tour.
Right, thank you. It was the USA tour, and it was 2 cities. What is that?
3 cities.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You son of a bitch. Why do you hate Kansas City?
Oh, that's what I was counting. Wasn't it like it was New York, Kansas City, and LA, wasn't it?
That did provide, in my mind, official confirmation that if she were to have to pick one of the 2 big Missouri cities, it would be Kansas City, which, makes sense geographically. Springfield is closer to Kansas City, but I was hoping that in my heart of hearts, which definitely won't happen, already wasn't likely, even more less likely to happen after the trade deadline today. I was like, if the Cardinals were in the World Series and they needed someone to sing the national anthem, should get Chapel Roan in there to do it.
She
the Missouri resident. I don't know. I think it might be a betrayal to Kansas City people.
Zach,
I don't know, because she's
we've
closer
got
to Kansas
John
City.
Hamm.
Yeah, I was gonna
John,
say,
do we?
Chiefs.
Do we? Or does Kansas City have John Hamm?
well, that's what he said. He said John Hamm's rooting for the Chiefs, but he explained that. I accept it.
Yeah,
I accepted his explanation. He's not picking Kansas City. He's loyal to the soil, and the soil is Missouri.
My top 3 Chapel Roan songs: Pink Pony
Yes.
Club, obviously.
Hey,
Red Wine Supernova.
hey,
Honestly, one of the most. That song is so fun and romantic that I have only written horror, like in my screenwriting, and that song genuinely made me want to write a rom-com because I love that song so much.
You just have
And
this
then-
darkness to you.
And I tried to write one set at 10-cent beer night in the 1970s between the Indians and the Rangers, but then even that I kind of ran into roadblocks there. And I turned it into a slasher movie. So I tried and I failed. I always kind of revert back to my base code, if you will. And then my third and final pick is also going to be Casual. I think it has to be Casual.
I'm excited to listen to this song tomorrow.
So good luck, babe. Snubbed by all 3 of us, or did Cole have it?
No, he didn't have it.
Wow,
His
wow,
list was
wow.
very similar to yours.
How about
Good
that?
Luck Babe's a good one.
Actually,
Definitely
That's the one with her most plays on Spotify. That one's over
Zach's list was
1.5
very
billion.
Similar to mine.
Did you guys like her most recent song?
Subway?
Besides
Give her?
Subway?
Give her's fun. Yeah, I like the one that came out today. I already knew it because she's been playing it live for like a year, but this was like the official release of it.
Oh.
It's good. Yeah, it's a slower one. It's not like a fun dancey song like The Giver or Hot to Go or something.
I don't want it. I'm sending it back.
But that outro is angelic.
Try it again. Well, I don't really have anything.
You guys have anything?
Zach, wait, did you see the trailer for Avatar: Fire and Ash?
I did watch it. I didn't see it in theaters yet because when I was gonna go see Fantastic Four, I ended up calling an audible and seeing Together instead.
I saw that you logged together.
I could talk about that in the post-credit scene.
Well,
for a
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
But
I figured trailer section we could talk
I
about.
did
trailers.
watch the trailer for Avatar: Fire and Ash, and
I still haven't watched it.
let me tell you, I have not really thought much about Way of Water since it came out, and people always had that criticism with the first Avatar, like, oh, it's made all this money, but there's no really cultural footprint in the sense that no one really talks about it since it came out, and everyone was skeptical about the new one making enough money. I won that bet with Adam, our enemy of the pod, Adam, who thought it would not do half of the numbers that the first one did. I won that bet. It made over what the first one did, didn't it? Or it came close at least.
It was close. Here, let me double
Yeah,
check.
it made over $2 billion.
Yeah, Cole, why don't you
So-
search that up?
But likewise, again, with the second one, I hadn't thought about it much since it came out because it is just such a theatrical thing. And so, I was like looking forward to the third one, like I know I'll see it. And then I watched that trailer on my phone. So I'm sure it would hit even more in a theater.
It does.
And I am just like blown away by it. I'm just like,
Whoa,
I am
really?
so all the way back in for Avatar again. Like
I'm gonna watch it.
it looks so good. And I heard, it was a similar thing. Like, how do you have a trailer for right before Fantastic Four starts? This is, from my brother, or a friend of my brother's, I think, said this. You play this trailer right before Fantastic Four, and then you start Fantastic Four, and it's just like, you are doing yourself no favors by showing how good a movie can look, and then you follow it up with
We
this.
also had that argument before we saw the new Black Panther. It was like,
Gosh, that one was...
because they did so much underwater, and it was like the comparison, they were
Gungan
actually...
City looked better than the underwater civilization in Black Panther.
Talocan.
I like that.
Good for you.
I liked when they did that.
I'll say another trailer that you can only catch in theaters, The Odyssey.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too, Cole.
That one's definitely a teaser.
Have you seen it?
Definitely a teaser.
What is it?
Yeah,
Can you
I saw it.
describe it. I haven't seen it, and I don't
it's-
think I'm gonna be able to.
It's
a
John
very-
Bernthal and Tom Holland talking, but John
At a bar.
Bernthal just chews up every fucking line, and it's so great.
I mean, it's just him doing
Matt
John
Damon is not
Bernthal.
in this trailer.
I hate you. I love John Bernthal.
John Bernthal a lot, but it's not like he's like. I mean, he's delivering it how he's delivered every other line you've ever heard him deliver.
So
Put it that way.
Matt-
but it's
Matt-
cool to hear him in that voice go like,
Can you give me?
"Who's got something to say about Odysseus?" Whatever. It's just like,
Some say he's richer, some say he's poor.
That's a good
it's
one.
I don't know. I can't wait. Next year between that and Dune 3, Love
my
that
God.
money.
The
I don't know what what movie's touching that in terms of anticipation next year. I guess Dune 3 actually is that December? Is that still coming out next year?
I kind of sold all my stock in crowdsourcing, but let me see if
Here's the thing. I mean, Avengers Doomsday is also allegedly coming out next year. There's just no way it's
December
touching.
18th.
It's not coming close to either of those two in terms of anticipation level.
This says there's a trailer out, but this doesn't look right.
What, the Odyssey?
No, for Dune Part.
No, because
No.
they haven't even. Have they
Corey.
even really?
Corey, they started
gotten
filming it like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I know.
Do not fall for fake
looks-
YouTube trailers. I beg you.
This looks fake.
Who posted it?
Yeah. Why
Oh
don't
my
you? Why don't you?
gosh, Cole! I beg you, do not look up Dune 3. They're like people. Like I look it up, and it's just spoilers. Do not
Okay,
look it up.
I won't.
Seriously, don't look it up.
I
Cole,
don't even
have you
know
already
the
not
plot
looked up
of Dune
spoilers?
theme. I don't even know the plot of Dune 3.
Dune Messiah. I imagine it's.
What you
They
do?
changed the title to Dune Part 3. It's not going to be called Dune Messiah.
Dune Part 3. What you doing to me?
They actually. Is that
We
true?
can't do the "what you doing to me" joke anymore.
Dune 2 chicks.
That was a Dune 2 joke. Cause it's like, what are you doing
Dune
to
2
me?
chicks at the same time.
We did this already.
Well, great trailer section. I'm excited for all those movies. I'm excited to listen to Casual by Chapel Roan. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Probably not tonight because I'm a sleepy guy. I'm a little behind the
On a
scenes.
loop.
This will go into the next section, so that's why I'm also giving behind the scenes right here as well. We're doing this a little bit later than usual, and since we are a coast to coast podcast in terms of audience and in terms of host, we are filming this a little bit later on my end, but a little bit later on everyone's end, but this is a little bit closer to my bedtime than for comfort. So, because of that, and because we are covering 2 movies, we will not be doing a call sheet today. I think I already primed you guys for that, but we will not be doing a call sheet today. So, Zach, you're going to have to get upset about something else. But until then, Cole, give us a summary with the action.
Even the opening scene, there's always some random girl who gets a call that undoubtedly ends up getting her killed. It's also predictable. There's no element of surprise. You can see everything coming.
Did that surprise you?
Why?
Because you talk too much. Now shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
To the Future Part 2. After successfully not banging his mom and changing the future, Marty returns to 1985. He reunites with his girlfriend Jennifer. Doc Brown arrives and brings Marty and Jennifer to 2015, where they knock Jennifer out and Marty buys the sports almanac so he won't be as bad as Zach at sports betting. Doc throws the almanac away, and while Marty recreates the skateboard scene from 1, Jennifer is taken to their future home and sees Marty get fired. All the while, Biff goes back to the past to give himself the almanac. Returning to Hill Valley, which has turned into hell, Marty and Doc learn Biff has killed George and used money to become Donald Trump. That is not a joke. They used Donald Trump as the inspiration. Let's not get political. Marty and Doc decide to return to 1955 to stop young Biff from ever getting the almanac. After a chase, the two retrieve the almanac and planned to revert 1985 to the old future. As they are about to head back, Doc and the time machine get struck by lightning and vanish. A man delivers a letter letting Marty know Doc is in 1885. And Marty runs to Doc to send him back there. Doc passes out. To be continued.
Love the way Marty comes darting around the corner there at the end.
Yeah.
Yes!
He is booking it.
Yes! Yes! Doc, I'm back. I'm back from the future.
He's still Christopher Lloyd in this one. He's still firing on all cylinders. I think like the reactions he has are still like right there. And I don't want to get into too much yet because we'll get into it. But
I mean, this is the action.
I know, but I don't want to talk about too many things at once. But I feel like Michael J. Fox. And I don't know if this is because of the writing. I don't know if this was like him not being as I don't know what it was. I have no idea. I don't know. But I feel like he takes a step back in a sense, and I feel like his character almost isn't as entertaining to watch in some points. I want to go back when we talked about part 1, when we talked about Back to the Future. We kind of said how everyone around, he's the straight man, and everyone else around him is playing like the crazy wild card, like not sure, or like, you know, and he's the straight man. That's kind of where the comedy comes from. It feels like in this one we lose that, and we start focusing more on the gags, you know, and it replaces a good storyline with what's a fun gag we can do, what's something quirky we can put into this movie, you know, like what's a crazy future that we imagine, you know, like one of the first things I wrote down was it feels like flying cars weren't very well thought out, you know, because they're flying cars, but it looks like they just moved the road up in the air because they still have like that center line, and then they still have like a ramp that you get off of. It's like, okay,
I think
that's kind of cool.
Laws here.
I like the ramp.
Here's my point with that one, and I understand we need to have laws. In the first one, I never asked a question. I guess it didn't have the same questions to ask, but it felt like with the time travel specifically, like that in and of itself, like, okay, what is this? What's going on? It never made me ask questions. It never made me want to. I was too distracted by the movie. I was too distracted having fun, and it never really affected it. But in this one, those questions came up. And maybe it's because I just watched the first one. It was like back to back to back. So maybe it was because of recency bias that I was like directly comparing it. If I had more time away, it would have been like The Heart Grows Fonder, you know, and I missed the character so much I just want to be back in the world. But that was my initial thoughts on it.
I mean, you talk about that. I'm able to suspend disbelief because, you know, there's
every movie's perfect.
No, it's more like the jokes, like Doc just does the Doc thing, and I accept that because this is the world that we are in. Like when he peels off the mask, which is an inside joke because Christopher Lloyd didn't want to wear the old age makeup, so he got a look to look younger.
Yeah.
So he rips off the mask, which I think is a great bit just in general. But because I'm able to suspend disbelief, that stuff doesn't affect me as much. That being said, I do love it. Have you guys seen the interview of Robert Zemeckis trolling people about the hoverboards? It's pretty hilarious. He basically said, the parents groups won't let the toy companies make them, but we got our hands on some and we put them in the movie. So he was trying to convince people that hoverboards were real.
In the 80s?
In the 80s, yeah. Zach, what about you? Did any of the stuff take you out of it?
Take me out of it? No. I mean, I think you have to just, I don't know. The whole like replication of bits from the first movie in the sense that, so we had this complaint with Spy Who Shagged Me, right? That they're just repeating gags from the first Austin Powers and switching it up a little bit. Listen to our
Austin Powers episode.
Way back. Or don't. Those probably weren't great. But
I told my mom not to.
I think it plays a little, it plays better, for not even a little bit better, it plays a lot better for me here with Back to the Future 2, because it's not like, oh, we're just repeating a gag. It's almost like the gag is that it happens at different points in history. Like history repeats itself, or like some things are just like cosmically aligned. Like with the Biff coming in and doing the McFly like thing in the future, like he did in the past or whatever, except it's like a different generation of Biff, well, multiple generations of Biff doing it in this movie. And then it happens again, you know, not to jump ahead, but it happens again even in the third one in the Wild West or whatever. Like that. I find that very funny. But if you told me that that's stupid, I wouldn't have a good counter to that. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and then, yeah, the hoverboard stuff, all the, like, the future gags, like the giant Jaws thing, whatever. Like, we don't spend enough time there for me to really get that annoyed by it. I think it kind of crams all those bits into, you know, 35 minutes that we spend there. Not even, maybe. So, like, I think it might be a lot, but I was down to just take what it was giving me in that sense. I was along for the ride.
Here's I think they really put them, like, pigeonholed themselves at the end of the first one, where they were like, we got to go to the future, and they take off, and they mentioned it. Like, I think Robert Zemeckis even said, like, if they would have known they were going to do a second one, they wouldn't have put Jennifer in the car. So they really had no idea. And I really think if they would have thought they were doing a second one, I don't even know if they would have gone to the future. Or I think they would have had a better story, and the future would have been like the midpoint of it and not like the first 35 minutes. Because honestly, in the grand scheme of this movie, they still probably spend the most time in 1955. Because they get back and immediately have to go back again, and I think I think they're back in 1985 for about 15-ish minutes until they figure out something's really wrong, and then they go back again, and then they spend the majority of the time there trying to get everything back, which it feels like, I don't know, it just feels redundant almost at that point, that like, we're gonna do it again, we're gonna go reinvent rock and roll, we're gonna go hit all these beats that they know everyone loves, and it's like, I understand, I'm not gonna argue that him, Griff in the future, going into the restaurant or the diner and saying McFly, like, I'm not going to argue that that's dumb or lame or anything like that, because I think there is a certain comedical aspect to it happening time and time again, like, just history repeats itself, as you said. I don't think that part's dumb. I just think, like, they didn't really think the ending of the first one to be anything massive, and then they felt the need to just pick up where they left off. I almost would have appreciated it more if they would have, like, figured out the story that they wanted to tell, and then just been like, okay, now we're back from the future, and then, like, that's how the second one starts or something like that, and they could start it where they want it to be, instead of just feeling like we need to have a story that picks up from right here. Like, this is where we are, this is what's happened, we need to have a story that picks up from right here.
We're going to reshoot it, we're going to put Jennifer in the car, and we're going.
But I mean, if you
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I actually I like this is a very part two movie,
very
in the sense
so.
that it picks up quite literally right there. Yeah. And so I kind of appreciate that, but I also see what you're saying. I do think that it is a bit of a missed opportunity. Like we said, knocking out the girlfriend, knocking out Jennifer, like, that just feels a little clunky. It feels you can see the strings, you can see that, well, we just don't want to have her be a part of it, so we're going to write her out of this pretty quickly. Yeah. Like, that felt a little clunky. Maybe if the original actress was available, I read that she just couldn't do it because her mom was dying, which is, sad. So they replaced her with the woman who ended up being in The Boys, season 1, Elizabeth,
I believe.
Yeah. And I mean, I think she's fine, but I think if there was an adventure with Marty, Doc, and Jennifer, that would be different from the first one. But instead, she's just kind of shoved to the side pretty quickly. Or likewise, if this movie was all in the future, if it was a movie where you actually make his kids part of, like, actual characters, like part of the movie, and you have a mirroring of the first movie where he, meets his he meets his parents at the same age, if he were to meet his kids at the same age. So it's like his role in that is reversed. You could have done something there too. In that case, you probably wouldn't have had it being played by Michael J. Fox.
And
but
how shallow how shallow the gene pool is in this town. Like, let's be real. He probably could have been like, I'm your distant cousin or something.
I guess, because they repeat that again in the third one with the distant relatives as well, in a way that doesn't quite make sense, but we'll get to that.
Any anyway.
Marty did in fact bang his mom.
Stop it. But here's the thing. I actually do. So I acknowledge your criticism, but I feel like that's me complaining about movies that we didn't get instead of actually addressing the movie that we did get, which in the sense that I actually do like that this movie is divided up into 3 distinct chapters, pretty much between those 3 timelines. I do think that this is, and this is not me saying it's better than the first one by any means in any way, because I'm definitely not. But this is definitely feels like like I said, this is a very part two movie. This is also a very time travel movie in the sense that we are time traveling often to many distinct eras and seeing the effect that their actions have on these different eras as they're moving through them, as they're fixing and correcting things, seeing the impact of their actions like trickle down and up the stream of time, however you want to phrase it, all in the same town with the same families. Like that it's kind of convoluted. I mean, it gets clunky, it gets a bit convoluted, but I do think it definitely keeps the energy up in that sense. Like, I think my favorite era is probably going back to 1950 or to 1985 after they think they solved everything. I think the darkness. I think that was honestly probably the scariest moment in the movie. Like, that would suck. That would be a scary, scary feeling, seeing that your whole universe has been wiped away pretty much, and everything has crumbled around you, and your life blows. Your dad's dead. Yeah, like that's boobs. Is that what you're gonna?
Whoa! I was not gonna.
That part was a bit odd. That part was a bit odd.
Mom, you're
his reaction
so
to it.
Bah.
Yeah, I don't know. I appreciated that aspect of it, and then going back in time to 1955. Tim, you know what that reminded me of? It felt like the original Avengers Endgame in that sense. Going back to these moments from previous movies.
Was it different Avengers Endgame?
No, I mean, like, this did the Avengers Endgame thing before Avengers Endgame.
This felt like the original Avengers Endgame. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because we're talking about these distinct timelines and covering, like, this separate universe or timeline that we created by changing this or taking this out or whatever, blah, 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 all that stuff. And then you're going back to beloved moments from this previous movie and kind of working around the margins of it. I think that Avengers Endgame does owe a lot to that. I mean, the time travel gimmicks are laid out on the board, and it's changed enough. Not changed, I don't want to say changed, but it's expanded enough in this one without getting too complicated. I do think this also maintains, like, the make things stressful on your characters thing from the first movie, except it also just kind of makes things stressful on your audience too, because there's a lot going on. But
because not only are you stressed for your character, you're also stressed for, like, the previous movie's character, and so I feel like it kind of, like, what do you mean say elevates it? Because it kind of almost made it, like, I don't know if I necessarily like that part, but I understand what you were saying with it. You have to make it hard on your characters, but it felt like inorganically hard. It felt like they were trying to produce the hardness of it instead of just letting the story make it hard.
I think my biggest problem with this movie, it stems from the way Marty is written. And I found this when I was watching this movie. I found him, like, outside of Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox is likable to the max. Is written to be profoundly unlikable in this movie.
Where are you getting that from?
Profoundly unlikable.
He goes to the future, right? Gets the almanac because he can't leave well enough alone. I just find that like I'm not, like, rooting for Marty because Marty's digging his own hole in this movie. He bought the almanac.
So many characters do that.
Why aren't you gonna laugh at Cole for digging his own hole? God.
I couldn't get behind Marty. And also it brought up the fact that there's also, it feels like they didn't really take the time to, and I get that his relationship with his dad was not great back in the past 1985. They do nothing to remedy this whole relationship with his family, how much he loves his family. I find that is so, they think that just because they are his family, that's good enough. But I think you need to write these moments in to actually show that he cares about these people, which I don't think they show that enough in the movie. And I don't think the emotional moments are as earned because he is not written the way he should have been.
What emotional moments are you talking about?
The crying at the headstone, the worrying about like they don't give us inkling in the first film that he even likes his fucking dad.
Okay.
I think this is a bit of a reach.
You never see that. You never think that they have a bad relationship. I always felt like
he's upset that his dad's a wimp. That's all.
Yeah, it always felt like he wanted more for his dad. I understand what you're saying, and I
think you can take the time to write the character a little better, to build this emotional aspect of the movie, and also to give him better motivation than he wants to make money, because he already has a good life back in 1985. Why does greed have to be the issue that we later learn is also his issue later in life that they do nothing to expand upon or remedy in the movie?
Well, it seems like later in life, his problem later in life got caused by him being called a chicken. That's the consistent
where did
through
that
line.
come from?
That was not in the first one.
Like,
Well,
that was just
yeah,
produced. See, there's so, like, it's inorganically difficult for these characters out of nowhere.
Mind him being a flawed guy with the greed thing, because I don't mind that being the cause of the issue. I mean, there are plenty of movies where, like, the conflict is caused by the main character effing up. You know, like, once again, I'll bring it back to, is Evie the bad guy in The Mummy because she had to take that book? She didn't leave well enough alone.
I'm not saying he's the
And that's how we're introduced to the character.
I know, but you're saying he's unlikable. Like, I don't think he's unlikable just because he thought he could get away with making some extra money. I mean,
he's more unlikable than he is in the first one.
sure, well, he makes a mistake. I wouldn't say that makes him unlikable. You know, like that's there's a difference between
chicken needles. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still a cool guy. I mean, I like Marty. I like the recurring. I like that every single time he gets into a conflict, he starts it with "What's that?" and then he points behind them every single time, and he tries to make that work every single time. Which I think
to be fair,
that's
it
pretty
usually
funny.
does. It usually works out for him.
It's just that one time where Griff kind of catches it even without looking, but then he just kicks Griff anyway, and it works. But, yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, they definitely make him a more flawed character in this one than they do in the other ones. But
he doesn't have to be perfect, but it feels like he was written so loosely just because you have a guy like Michael J. Fox, where it's kind of like the whole Robert. They didn't have a script for the first Iron Man. Most of it was Robert Downey Jr. being Robert Downey Jr. It just feels like you're leaning on the charisma of your star, which in his case, Michael J. Fox is one of the biggest stars of the 80s. You can do that, but you also have to give me more of a reason to truly care. And I didn't find myself caring about like what he had going on as much in this movie as I did in the first movie.
Let's talk about some good things. I think we've been criticizing this movie a lot, and I think it deserves some criticism. But let's talk about some things that worked for us. I still thought the cast, Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox, what's her name? That plays Lorraine. I have her name.
Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson.
Don't stutter like you didn't know. Don't do that.
I thought the cast still worked very, very well, and I thought they were still very, like, they played off each other well, and they were very entertaining to watch, even though we're just positive things. I thought the cast was one thing that really, really was a positive for me, and I still love the aesthetic of these movies, because even when it's in the future, back in time, 1985, 1955, it doesn't matter. Like, you could tell that it's Back to the Future just by looking at, like, any shot from any of these movies, and I really like that. That's something that keeps me coming back to them over and over again. You know, like, it makes me want to rewatch the first one because you really want to be in that world, and I think this one just continues that, even though it does something different. And like Zach said, it's in more time or different time periods than the previous one. You could still, each one is distinct, but they still all fit together. I think that works really well.
Mm-hmm. I will agree with you there. And I think it's a fun choice to have Marty both play or Michael J. Fox play his younger son and younger daughter. I think that's a fun bit that they lean on, but they don't spend too much time on it.
They didn't spend too much time on it when they made a whole another movie where... Never mind, sorry.
It only works... I mean, that kind of is necessary, though, for the whole reason why he's there to begin. Like, he has to be able to pass as his son. You know, for Doc's plan to work.
Yes.
So,
also,
I'll forgive it there,
He does not need a pass as his daughter.
You know what I did think?
Wasn't... Wait, what do you mean? That was his daughter?
That was
his
him.
Daughter?
Yes.
Michael J. Fox is playing his daughter.
You didn't know that?
I did not even fool me.
Well, okay, I'll be honest. I only knew that because I looked it up and I was like, I wonder who plays his daughter. And then I looked it up before the movie because I was thinking it was, oh my gosh, Leah Thompson. I thought it was her for a second that played his daughter. And so I looked it up and I was like, Michael J. Fox plays his own daughter? And then he came on screen. I was like, oh my gosh.
It's very obvious that he...
What?
It would have made a lot more sense for it to be Leah Thompson.
Well, yeah, it would have fit the theme of every other movie.
I do
Or
have a
just
question for you guys.
Elizabeth
Do you think
Shue.
there was a version of this movie where since they're doing the whole time as kind of cyclical thing, do you think there's a version of this movie where Marty's son is played by Kristen Glover if they actually ended up working that deal out with him?
No. I think there's a version of this movie where Kristen Glover plays Marty's daughter.
That would have been... He would have killed. He would have killed.
Zach, do yours. Zach, do yours. Zach, do yours.
Come on. Come on.
I like
You get your damn hands off her.
You're lying.
I do think I agree with you. The cast is great, but I do think this movie misses Crispin Glover. I think that presence of George McFly in the first Back to the Future is one of the strongest aspects, like we talked about on that episode. So Crispin, I mean, again, it's already kind of a chaotic, crazy movie. So adding another profound character into it, like a big presence, like Crispin Glover is in that first movie, as meek as his character is for the most part, I think. I wouldn't say it would be worse with him, obviously. I think the movie could only be improved by adding that character back in some capacity, but this movie does have a lot already. You know, with just, there is an increase of Biff in this movie, for sure.
Yeah.
And he is much more of a constant antagonist in this than he is in the first one. You know, because in the first one, you know, the antagonist is like, yeah, Biff is like the human antagonist, but the real antagonist is just time. Like, in the sense that, like, the conflict of Marty having to get back. And Biff is just kind of a dick that's around. This is one where the bad guy, you know, like, you know, Marty causes it indirectly with the almanac, but like it really is, Biff is the true villain of this movie, like throughout all three timelines. So like that's a cool change, I think, that I actually appreciated.
So you like that. I actually had a question about that because one of the things I wrote down was, would you guys consider Biff the main villain of the first one? Which, I mean, Zach, you just answered. You said no. Probably time is, you know, because that's what they're fighting against. Marty's trying to get back, and it's just like the situation that he was put in, and Biff is just like a I don't even know,
roadblock.
Like, yeah, it's just a roadblock, and that Marty has to overcome. And I was wondering, maybe that's what is missing from this, like this ambiguous villain that you can't just like you can't just like wrap your head around. But like with Biff, you can kind of like, you know what he was, and he just took this next step up. And I was going to ask if that was something you guys appreciated, or if it's something that you wish would have stayed ambiguous and Biff would have just been a roadblock continuing forward.
I think Thomas F. Wilson, who I've seen in multiple other things, and he plays...
I gotta look it up.
He was in Freaks and Geeks. He's really good in Legends of
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
A lot of SpongeBob voices.
Yeah. But
He's in Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, he plays one of the characters' dads. He's actually really funny. But I think the fact that you have to lean on him in not one, not two, but three timelines, and he like he carries that in each timeline. Each version of him, which I love, is no matter what generation, no matter where he's at, Biff is gonna be the same guy. And I find that detail of the character honestly what makes him so much fun to watch, because, you know, there's versions of the world where George became a better person because he stood up to Biff. He became a stronger person. He became a more competent person. No matter what, Biff is a weasel, and he's going to do what he needs to get by, and I just love that detail.
Yeah, I like a character that, you know, there's not like some, you know, a tragic background that made him who he is. He's just an asshole. You know, just generationally.
Get back in the house, Grandma!
Yeah, I love one of my favorite parts in the second one. I think maybe the hardest I laughed in the entire second movie is when we're back in 1955 and Marty is, you know, gonna follow Biff to the car shop, and Biff just, those kids lose their ball. Biff just grabs it. They're like, "Can we have our ball?" And he just like, "Oh, this ball? This one?" And then he throws it away where they can't get it for no reason, and then walks away laughing. It's like, that's such a good villain moment, even on a small scale.
Didn't he say he had one of the sayings that he messed up? You know, like that's like his thing where he just like, hey, why don't you make like a tree and get out of here? Didn't he have?
He
one
says
of
something
those
about
where
like
he
a
was
screen.
talking
Yeah,
to
he's like, it's as useful as a screen door on a battleship or something like that.
I think it's the fact that he plays it in such a way where he's genuinely hateable, but I'm kind of okay with the fact that we don't have an arc either. Like Biff is just Biff, and Biff is also Griff, and Biff will eventually be Mad Dog. I mean, it's just
I like that he's
will have always been Mad Dog.
Just watching westerns in his hot tub with, those two ladies like, oh, this movie's great. Like just
Isn't he watching Good, Bad, and the Ugly?
He's watching one of those.
Yeah,
he's watching one of those Clint Eastwood things. Which the first Back to the Future has like
Actually, I think
all those like
Fistful of Dollars.
gags in the original 1985 that are you show that they've been happening in 1955, like kind of like what we were talking about here, like where things happen in the future. A lot of that happens in Back to the Future too. It's just like subtle little hints about where the third one's gonna go.
Yeah,
that you just kind of
Mad
pick up
Dog
on
at,
retro.
like, the museum.
That there's him watching a Clint Eastwood movie with the bulletproof vest thing is very direct. You just have Doc saying that he would love to be in a Western.
It's from the other movies.
Right. I don't know.
From the other?
There is at least one other one. He's so good at the Wild West shooting game at the bar or whatever. Like,
oh my gosh,
or at
yeah.
the cafe.
Hey, did you guys recognize the kid?
Elijah Wood.
It was Elijah Wood. Frodo.
No, it's not.
It was Frodo Baggins.
Did you recognize that guy giving them the options? Michael Jackson was like giving them food options at the Cafe 80s.
Welcome. Okay, I will say this. That part really
It is Elijah Wood.
Kind of took me out of it because I saw their makeup and then you look at George and it's like this guy looks as crude as like the crudely put together 80s characters. You guys got anything else for this one?
Yeah.
What's with the 99 in the sky at the end?
I don't remember what you're talking about, to be honest with you.
When he goes back in time, he's flying in the sky and he gets struck by lightning. And Marty at first thinks like, oh no, Doc died. But then like a 99 appears in flames in the sky as he's getting struck and sent back in time to 1885.
Did he go back 99 years?
Are you sure it wasn't 3 6s?
No, it was 99. It said 99. I wrote down, I was like, what is with this 99 in the sky?
Do you have an image of this, Corey?
I just flat out don't.
Corey, I feel like I'm being gaslit. Zach, do you feel like you're being gaslit?
I feel like I'm being set on fire.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Are you sending
this is literally it says why.
Did you send it? Cool. Oh my god.
See, like that appears in the sky. Think of it. But you guys can't view that. Wait. Yeah. I clicked on an article that like it explains why, but I don't really feel like reading it.
I don't know.
Great. It says it's simply just
maybe
a side effect of the DeLorean being in the air.
Maybe it's St. Louis and Bob Gale calling when St. Louis would win the Super Bowl.
Wow. Because he had the sports almanac.
Yeah.
That's my best theory, I guess.
But that's really all I had.
I was watching this with my roommate, and he had not seen 2 or 3 at all. I mean, he knew that they existed. He just did not know that they were made in conjunction with each other. So at a certain point, I was like, we had like 10 minutes left, and he was like, looks like we're wrapping up. And I was like, I just don't know when to tell you that these were filmed back to back. And so like, and he's like, oh no. And he kind of knew like some type of cliffhanger was coming. But I do want to say that I actually like,
I like the cliffhanger in this one.
I think this cliffhanger is a cliffhanger I'm definitely fine with. I'm always gonna be pretty much fine with cliffhangers as long as like the next one is like locked in. You know, like I don't like leaving a story open ended if you're not gonna finish it.
Yeah.
But I do think this one wraps up even neater than, you know, other ones like that, than like, because this story of the second one, the conflict of Biff messing up the timelines, they do fix that by the end of this movie. Mm-hmm. It just sets up a completely separate conflict for the third one, which is that Doc is back in the 1800s. So I'm much more forgiving of this type of cliffhanger because, I mean, yeah, it would be a awkward ending given that it says to be concluded, and then we have a literal preview of the next movie. It makes sense to do that back then because they don't have the internet. They don't know that these were probably filming back. The average moviegoer did not know that these were filming back to back. Mm-hmm. But I don't mind the cliffhanger. Were you guys at all put off by it, or you guys wish this ended neater? Or
I mean, it's kind of been spoofed to death, but I love the delivery of the letter and the idea that Doc knew, like. He probably got back into the past, wrote down the exact time, wrote the letter, sent it to the courier. Like, I love that detail.
I think that's neat. Yeah, that's fun time travel shenanigans.
Like,
that's fun time travel shenanigans.
I'm not going to make it back. And then the famous, the Doc's alive! We do have movies now where it's like, oh yeah, they're locked in. And then I think Spider-Verse is a great example of this. We were supposed to get that movie last year, this year, but, you know, and it ends on a heavy cliffhanger, which I think is great if you're making those movies back to back and you know it's going to come out right away. But
those idiots put a release date at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But arrogance. Stupid they. I mean, how stupid did they look now? I mean, okay.
But by like doing that, you just leave. I don't know. It's not as satisfying. Like this, I imagine being back. This was what they came out 88, 89, 89.
Yeah, less than a year apart.
Yeah, so that's satisfying. But the idea of waiting for a movie with a heavy cliffhanger, like we got a cliffhanger in Avengers Endgame or in Infinity War. That is
we did, but also it's one that it is a conclusion to that. It's a clear conclusion of that story.
This might be the Avengers Infinity War of Back to the Future movies because it's the villain's story. This is Biff's story.
So it's both Infinity War and Endgame, as we established with the going back to previous movies.
Maybe it can also be Age of Ultron too. I have.
Why not? It's all of them.
Maybe it's Harold and Maude. No, let's just keep on adding different movies that it could be. What other movie do you think it could be?
I actually wanted to connect this movie to Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. That's actually the movie I wanted to connect it to.
Wow, that is just a fascinating accidental segue.
You guys,
because I do
Zach, where does this rank in your part twos?
Well, not that. I have a more niche version of that. A more specific. This question's a little bit more aimed. Movies that were actually filmed back to back. Like, not like, oh, this is just the middle one in the series, but like movies that were actually filmed back to back. Like, I don't think it's as good as Two Towers or Infinity War, as we like those are two that we just talked about, but I liked this movie more than I remembered. I would put this on the same level as Dead Man's Chest. I think it's close enough to Dead Man's Chest to be put on that same tier. I think it's I think it's Dead Reckoning level for sure. I mean, this has a less frustrating cliffhanger than Dead Reckoning did. That was kind of an underwhelming little cliffhanger at the end of that one.
I have the only parachute.
Well, that's okay. Now you're just talking about Final Reckoning.
That scene's so great.
Those two, Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, were filmed back to back.
They were filming Final Reckoning while doing Dead Reckoning. It just took a while because they added a shit ton more. And then 28 years later is a really recent one where I'll film back to back with the one that's the Bone Temple comes out in like February or something. So like that already had a sequel like done filming by the time this new one came out, which that one has another type of cliffhanger that I feel a lot better about it knowing the second one's already coming out.
Hunger Games, Mockingjay.
I was about to say, yeah, I think I actually might like this more than Mockingjay Part 1 by a little bit, maybe. And Deathly Hallows Part 1, I think I might like this more than that one.
This is a big one. Kissing Booth Part 2.
Zach loves the Kissing Booth movies.
No, we haven't seen it.
I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, we're waiting to watch the second one.
Just like Breaking Dawn Part 2, I just woke up after a fun night and I was powerless to move, and Corey had already put on a movie, and I just kind of let it wash over me, and I did watch the entirety of Kissing Booth.
That's so funny. You were so upset while you were like, turn it off.
I can't imagine how there's 2 more movies in that storyline.
It's a trilogy.
That's
I gotta watch
absurd.
them.
I think this is better than Wicked. I don't know if Wicked 2 really... Did Wicked film back-to-back with Wicked Part 2? Wicked for Good?
I don't know,
actually.
so.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know enough about Wicked to disprove it.
Well, if they did, I like this more than the first Wicked.
This says that Revenge of the Sith was filmed during the production of
the last scene of Revenge of the Sith. The last scene of Revenge of the Sith, they filmed while doing the Attack of Clones stuff on Tatooine because they didn't want to have to go all the way back to that country just to film that one last shot.
So I don't know if you want to count that.
So principal photography of both films began in December 2022 in England for Wicked.
Good, yeah. This says 28 years later, and the that one's filmed back to back. But I guess we can't.
I think he tuned me out because we had a whole 40-second discussion about that. Cole and I did about a minute and a half
just
ago.
now.
Yeah, we sure did.
Corey's getting
that's a rough look for you. I
was looking at movies. I thought I was listening. I don't know. I guess not. I'm sorry.
Well,
Fear Street.
I don't know if
Did you guys talk about Fear Street.
Fear Street.
I would have to rewatch those, but those probably might be better. I don't know.
I haven't seen that. I was so.
I guess X and Pearl. They weren't planning it going in, but X and Pearl. Maybe I like X more than this.
Probably, this is X and Pearl as well. I see that now. This is Way of Water and Fire and Ash. I know you guys probably already said that one.
No, we didn't actually.
But we haven't seen Fire and Ash. So it's hard, like I guess I don't really understand the question because
we would be comparing it to Way of Water in this context.
Yeah.
The first.
Do you like this more than Way of Water? Very different movies.
I don't think so. No, I think Way of Water ultimately works a bit better for me than this.
What about? Have you guys seen Rebel Moon? Those movies, the Zack Snyder. No, me neither. It says those were filmed back to back.
I buy that.
The 9% on Rotten Tomatoes Zack Snyder movies.
It's got 9%. Now I gotta watch them.
It was bad.
I'm gonna watch the director's cut, the 4.5-hour director's cut.
All right, I'm done. We can move on.
On to
the award season. Why? I thought you say it. Okay.
Apparently they strayed off course, and we're fairly certain they're in guerrilla hands.
So why don't you use the regular army? What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
All right, that was odd.
I honestly forgot which one we were going to do next.
Okay, I would like to go first.
What are we doing, the awards?
Okay. Yes.
I am going to go Thomas F. Wilson, Biff and Griff Tannen. I think, like I said, I mean, I did bring up the conversation about Biff just because I really love his portrayal. And he also has a song about, like, people asking him dumb questions about this movie that he does on stand-up that's actually, like, very endearing. But I very much enjoy his performance. I think he's fun. I don't care that I don't like him because he's so entertaining, and I think he helps carry this movie through the decades that pass.
Great pick, Cole. That was my number one choice as well. Okay. My second pick, but my MVP is going to be Christopher Lloyd. He was number 2 in the first movie, and I think everything that made him so good in the first one, he just continued over in this one. The facial expressions were there. The over-the-topness with the quirkiness, I think it was all still there and all still so charming. His character really didn't skip a beat, and neither did he. So I think that played out well, and that really... I don't know. It brought you back to why you love these movies, you know. And I think that he is a big part of that, and he's a big part of why I really liked this one. So Christopher Lloyd is going to be my MVP for Back to the Future Part 2.
Cool. Thomas F. Wilson was also my MVP, and actually Christopher Lloyd was my second pick. But my third pick that I did write down is open that.
Elizabeth Shue.
No, Production designer Rick Carter, because I think all the different versions of these timelines are very distinct, and I had a lot of fun with even the future setting. I thought that was a beautiful little courtyard they had there. I love that giant little lake in the middle of it, and I like the ramp that Corey didn't like for the flying cars, and I like the Cafe 80s, and I like the
Welcome to the Cafe
steampunk
80s.
awful, alternate 1985, and I liked going back to 1955 as well. So it's got to be a bit of a difficult job making sure everything's consistent, with these the distinct timelines going back and forth and all that. So I think Rick Carter and his team did a lovely job here in Back to the Future Part 2. Give him his flowers.
On to the review section.
Says that they insist on outside opinions.
What kind of opinions?
Well, your kind, not to put too fine a point on it. I mean, let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Cole, why don't you go first, Cole?
Doc, do you mean to tell me this is actually a solid sequel, but gets a bad rap just because it follows a perfect film? This is heavy. 3 out of 5.
I was really hoping for a Doc impression there on the latter half of that review.
I was hoping for precisely. That's not what I was hoping for.
Back to the Future Part 2 retains enough of its predecessor's efficiency and sense of fun, despite an inherent feeling of been there, done that, and blatant anti-gambling propaganda. 3.5 out of 5.
Hitting the beats that they know audiences will love, but falling just a little flat. While not on the top of its game, it still gives us iconic moments and highlights a really fun cast that is hard to not enjoy. 3 out of 5.
Play the Corey and I agree, and Zach doesn't sound her.
That's a common sounder. Play that sounder.
More often than not, it's you guys liking something more than me, so I'm actually like the optimistic fellow
I'm
here.
kind of surprised.
I honestly thought you were going to go 2.5.
Wow. But
I was like,
what do you guys think of me?
But then I was like, that also seems low, so I thought maybe you would be on the same. But I was like, it's going to be 2.5 or 3. I didn't think you would go 3.5. Interesting. On to Back to the Future Part 3. Cole, why don't you tell us what happens? Beep boop bop, beep beep boop bop bop.
Marty and Doc.
Even the opening scene, there's always some random girl who gets a call that undoubtedly ends up getting her killed. It's also predictable. There's no element of surprise. You can see everything coming.
Did that surprise you?
Why?
Because you talk too much. Now shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
Doc find a way using a hidden DeLorean to send Marty back to 1885, where the DeLorean breaks down again. Maybe there's a reason this company went out of business. While back in 1885, Marty meets Seamus and Maggie McFly, who prove there must be inbreeding in Hill Valley. Marty, under the alias Clint Eastwood, runs into Buford Mad Dog Tannen and his gang. Marty is then saved by Doc, who is taken quite well. 1885. I do love that first shot of Doc in this movie. Sorry to get off track, but the two plan to use a train to get the DeLorean to 88 miles an hour. While planning, Doc saves Clara Clayton, and the two begin a courtship. While at a celebration for the new clock tower, Buford challenges Marty to a gunfight. Marty then says yes after being called the Old West version of a chicken, though he thinks he will be gone by the time of the duel. Though in love, leaves Clara and goes to get drunk while waiting for the train. Doc has one too many, and Marty is forced to fight Buford, who he defeats. Using the train, they get the time machine to 88 miles an hour, but Doc stays behind with Clara, who had followed them. Marty reunites with Jennifer and avoids his doomed future. Doc returns with his wife and children, deciding to return to time traveling and telling Marty to make his future whatever he wants.
Okay. I have just overwhelmingly easy least favorite part of this movie, and I'll go ahead and say my least favorite part of the trilogy.
Doc's kid.
Unfortunately, it is the last scene of the trilogy. I think Doc's whole mantra of we need to destroy this time machine over the past 2 movies, and then he shows up in a fucking train time machine, with his kids, and they brought them
water.
Brought him 100 years into the future. Is like, Marty, I don't care anymore.
And then
we've been going everywhere, dude, you hypocrite. You got bored, and or you told your kids or something that you invented time travel, and they were like, nah, and you had to prove it. I don't know, whatever happened. Like, it's just kind of a lame ending. I think I remember watching Back to the Future Part 3 when I first watched it. This is only the second time I've ever seen it. And it was over 10 years ago, easily, when I first saw it. I think it was middle school, maybe even before that. I think I watched it with my brothers, and I think I remember Ben saying, I think I could have just done with another letter from the past for Marty instead of him showing up with the whole family in a time travel train. I think another letter would have been nice and sweet and fitting. This is just kind of a cheesy little end that almost seems like they're trying to set up. I don't want to sound cynical. It's just, it felt very much like we were leaving it open for a 4th one. And I'm just...
They put the end at the end.
Yeah, okay. Well, we know that's never been broken before, so... I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Doc just going back on everything he said, and I get that it goes into that, actually, the future is what you make it.
His arc.
I mean, it wasn't even like a much of an arc. It's just his...
one speech.
Yeah, I don't know. Lame. That scene was a little lame to me. And I'm getting that out early because actually I feel pretty good about this movie too, but that was definitely my shortcoming with it.
So Zach brings up the last scene, and there was something that I watched the Honest trailer for these movies, and there's something they point out. I don't know if you guys caught it, but there's a scene with Doc's kid. And I guess they didn't catch this kid doing this. He goes like this with his hand. And then points to his dick.
What?
Yes, it is in the movie.
With Doc's kid?
Doc's kid does that in the movie. You can look up the scene on YouTube.
Well, you'll forgive me for being skeptical of this. Something about this feels like it's taken out of context, but let me see.
Look up Doc's kid. You have to watch the whole scene, but it happens.
Did you see it?
Okay, yeah, that was, okay. I don't know.
That made it into the final cut of the movie.
I don't know. It wasn't like super blatant.
But it's like...
Good for him.
I'm thinking
Good for him. Good for that 5-year-old.
Robert Zemeckis did not catch this in the edit.
I'll be honest, I didn't catch it. I only caught it by staring directly at this little kid when there's like a whole other conversation going on, and I'm just ignoring that conversation and staring at this little child.
But I don't think that takes me out, but I think like that proves where they were at with these movies, where it's like, look, it's over. Let's just get it done.
Let's get it done.
I don't know. I will say, Zach, it's a fair criticism of the train thing coming at the end. Like maybe a letter with like a picture of his kids would have sufficed.
Oh, that'd been great. Oh, that'd have been just swell. What a sweet little ending that would have been.
But I don't think it really bothered me necessarily. And when I saw it, I was like, a time traveling train is so cool. That was my first thought. It wasn't, what's this guy?
It's kind of cool. In a vacuum, it is kind of
cool.
It's
really cool. I wish he would have done that instead of a DeLorean, honestly. But yeah, I didn't really take it. I don't think that falls into the category of taking me out of the movie. I think honestly this movie did a better job of keeping me in it than the second one did. Mainly because it doesn't force questions that you don't need to ask. It mainly just has gags where they're like, wouldn't this be goofy? Like I think like the water one, I don't even know if that's a gag really, where they like have the water and it's like brown and Marty's just like, ugh, gross. You know what I'm talking about? When Seamus offers some water. You guys are just not even listening anymore, are you? You just zoning out. I can't even tell.
Oh, you're making
it felt like a lot. No, it just felt like there were like a lot. It felt like there were just a lot of gags. It didn't feel like there were. It was really focused on anything in particular a lot of the time. And it felt like the main villain was kind of ambiguous again, so they kind of reverted back to that.
It was
original.
The clock. Yeah. They were racing against time.
Yeah, so it felt like they were kind of reverting back to that original theme in the first movie instead of sticking with someone being the antagonist, which I don't. Interesting to go back and forth. I don't know if I would have. I don't know if that's, but I don't know.
I will say this. I think this movie benefits from after, like, the first two films are very clearly, they're Marty stories and Doc is along for the ride. But it's very much Marty's story throughout the first two movies. But it's a 1A, 1B Marty, Doc. I think this movie benefits from Doc taking over the A spot and it actually being about, like, his personal life. Something he wants to do. Doc falls in love. I think that's actually fun, and I think that's a unique way to take his character in this movie. I think that's played incredibly well. I also love the scene when he gets drunk and they have to give him the
wake up juice.
Yeah, and then he slams his head. We gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. He'll be up in about 10 minutes.
He plays it well. I mean, Christopher Lloyd's always funny, like Corey was saying earlier, but that whole scene reeked of, we need to find a way for Doc to not be, like, usable for the next, like, beginning of this climax here for this to actually work. Because they had set their plan so well. And it's like, well, apparently he can have one drink and he'll pass out immediately. And it's like, okay. I mean, that's funny. That really wasn't built up to that well either. I think that, well, maybe for the previous two movies, if he was like, I don't drink, Marty. You know, if he had been saying that like the previous three movies, and then it pays off here, that would be different.
By the way,
would feel
I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, like that would be funny.
Or if he would,
this just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, he doesn't even drink it. He just likes to hold it. It's like that's kind of funny in a sad type character detail type of way. But the fact that he he has one drink, he'll pass out. Like that's very convenient for the climax of this movie to actually work in a tense fashion, I guess. But Cole, I do agree with you that Doc having a love story here, you know, it's against science because the scientific thing for him to do is, stick with the plan and not get involved with a woman in this time period that he doesn't belong to. I think that's an interesting, and her being a fellow lover of science or whatever. Like, oh, that's cute. It's cute stuff without it being too deep. Her inexplicably trying to just get onto a train at the end was also a bit of a, we need to find a way to make this climax a little more tense type of thing. But that's
she's
fine.
In love.
I am too, but like I'm not gonna. There's a line to my love. I'm not gonna do that shit. That's crazy.
What's his name?
I have a question for you guys. This movie did make me ask one question where it was like questioning the rules of time travel. Doc went back and he was like, I've fallen in love with someone named Claire. He wrote that in the letter. But in this time period, Marty still knows it as whatever her name is, Ravine or Claire or whatever. Clayton Cavern or whatever the thing is that she fell into, right? And that's what it's named after her. But he knows it as that. But Doc's already back in time, and presumably he already met Clara. But he only meets Clara because Marty goes back, and because Marty they have to figure out how to get back to the future. And so they're only there because they're trying to scout places to try to find a proper place to send him back. And that's the only reason he saved him. So if Marty never went back, so in this scenario, Marty would always have gone back. But if Marty always would have gone back, then Doc wouldn't have died.
Stop.
Corey,
it does make me ask that question.
You realize that's the
quote
that's
Taylor
the
Swift,
Chuck
you're
Berry.
losing me.
That's the Chuck Berry joke, though. If like
that was my point, yeah. In the first one,
Marty never
consistent.
goes back in time. Marvin Berry doesn't hurt his hand.
He doesn't tail.
He doesn't call his cousin Chuck, and he doesn't play the song for him. Did Marty write Johnny Be Good? Maybe. Well, who knows?
I think in that one, it's almost like Chuck would have always written Johnny Be Good. But in this one, he just didn't.
Stop.
I guess. I don't know.
But the question is, where is Huey Lewis in all of this?
I found out that Chuck Berry is from St. Louis.
What? I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
Dude.
So we have that giant statue.
He's got a statue, yeah.
The Loop is a fucking love letter to the guy.
I know. I didn't put two and two together.
Funny. I do think
I like the Western theme.
I like that this movie is not very often does a sequel get simpler than its predecessor. Usually things just keep on getting more and more complicated. Like you think of Pirates of the Caribbean at the World's End. Dead Man's Chest is already a bit messy of a movie, a lot going on. World's End is like absurd with how much is going on, all the different moving parts of World's End.
Listen to our World's End episode.
Yeah, but like this movie actually like really like just makes this a really simpler.
So simple.
It's such a simple movie. And also the motivation is clear. You know, like Cole, you had complaints about Marty's, flaws in the last movie and how it's all caused by the almanac thing. Like this movie, the whole motivation is just going back to save Doc. It's very clear motivation. And I love the conceit of like, yeah, sure. And it's just you can get on board and you're not really confused at all with it. It's all laid out very clearly. It's similar to the first movie in that sense that you have the timeline, the ticking clock of when you need to get this stuff done. So, and you're spending most of it in one time period. So I appreciated that aspect of this movie, and I think it did leave more room for more jokes. And I think we were, third time with these characters. I think I like just at this point like having a chance to just like kind of settle down a little bit and just hang out with them a little bit more. Not saying that this is like a hangout movie by any means. It's still it still moves, but like it felt very relaxed, a lot more relaxed compared to the second one in that sense. Like. And I think I was so on board right away at the beginning of starting this third one again. Like when Doc wakes up, thinks it was all a dream, and then Marty surprises him, and his reactions to that, I'm like, we have just got this nailed down. Like we have cracked Back to the Future. Like this is what it should be. Like I wrote down one of these deliveries. I'll probably have to like put it in, like actually get the audio and put it into the episode because there's no way I'll be able to do it justice. But like Doc refusing to believe that Marty is there. And then he's just like, this isn't happening. You can't be here because I refuse to believe that you are even here. And he like slams the door or whatever. His delivery, Christopher Lloyd's delivery there is so good. And then like, he's like, oh, you sent me a letter or whatever. And then his eyes there go right to the letter. And then he's talking through the magnifying glass, but it's just, his mouth is huge. Like all these like bits early on work really well for me.
Marty!
And I actually really like the relationship between them is, I think, more in this one. Like you said, we had a lot more emphasis on Doc, so therefore you also have a lot more emphasis on Doc and Marty's relationship, especially when it's about Marty going back to save Doc. And I love that little letter. Like you've been a kind, loyal friend to me and made a real difference in my life, and I will always treasure our relationship. Like that is so sweet, especially when Corey was hating on the fact that they were friends to begin with in the first one. I know he had a whole diatribe about that.
I wasn't hating it. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of criticism about that, or a lot of confusion, and a lot of like, how did this even come to be? And I just thought it was worth. I thought it was worth discussing and bringing up, but apparently this isn't a movie franchise podcast. It's just a podcast about movie franchises.
Corey, did you not have an old man friend as a young boy?
It's a great South Park episode where Cartman wants more mature friends, and he accidentally becomes the spokes kid for NAMBLA. Like it's like National Association of Man-Boy Lovers or something. He just thinks he's having more mature friends, but they're all pedophiles. So I know we brought it up earlier. Western. Oh, cool. I know we brought it up earlier. Doesn't really make sense. Cole alluded to it in his summary. Doesn't really make sense for Leah Thompson to be like his great grandma and he
on his dad's side.
Yeah, that doesn't quite check out, but I think it's just a way to keep her in the movie, and I'll buy it on that level. And I would say it's not a negative. It doesn't hurt the movie at all for me. I liked having her around.
I don't understand the need to go back to actors and have them play other versions of themselves.
We were just talking about.
I feel like that's
how much you loved the cast coming back, and that was your whole bit in the second one.
And yeah, but like they were all back in 1955, and I thought like it's kind of where they really thrive. But like I think one of my complaints I mentioned was Marty or Michael J. Fox.
Marty.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the actor's name for a second. Him playing all these different characters, that kind of like, why can't we just get someone to play his daughter? Why can't we get someone to? His son specifically. He would have need like that. That was the whole plan, That's fine. But why can't we get someone to? Why do we have to just rely on the same actors to play everything? And in this one, even more so, it feels like yes, the cast is very fun, but like Leah Thompson, she doesn't do anything in this movie.
She just
doesn't even have the big.
She just scolds him the whole fucking movie.
It's like she's in it for maybe 15 minutes, probably closer to 10, and that's probably even being generous as well. But it's just like, I just don't understand the need to put her in it, and I don't understand the need to put Michael J. Fox as Seamus. Like, it's almost like they don't trust the audience to connect that a McFly is Marty's ancestor. You know, that's what it feels like. It feels like we're doing it because you don't they don't trust the audience to connect. Like, oh, this is his family. They're related. That's why it's the same actor, because they're related.
Point A, here's point B. Meet them in the middle.
I love that Biff played his great-great-grandfather. Like I said earlier, I was amped when he came in there and said McFly in the saloon. I was just like, yes, yeah. I mean, of course. Like, this is great stuff, great fun.
You know what?
Then there's that, and that does work for me when Biff is playing himself.
The thing that I loved too was Marty calling him dude at one point, and then he starts calling Marty dude in that like Western. Well, dude.
We do have. I feel like they do the Marty vernacular from 1985 out of place stuff just enough to where it doesn't get annoying. I think it was. I think the one that I thought of in this one where he says far, like the heavy thing is in the first one. That's funny, but like in this one when he's talking to his ancestors or whatever, and he's like, yeah, far out or whatever, frisbee, far out or whatever, and then he walks away and they're like, what was that about? And she's like, it was right in front of him. But I don't know. I find that kind of funny. So that works for me. I do think, what was I about to say about Mad Dog Biff again? Oh, I also think Mad Dog Biff is funny, like with how stupid they play him. I think my roommate did not watch the third one with me after watching the second one with me, but he did he asked me how it was, and I said I liked it. I think I did like it a lot. And he said, I did hear you have a few hearty laughs in your room while watching it. And one of them was definitely...
Hearty laugh.
That wasn't Back to the Future I was watching.
The follow-up to that joke is...
I don't know.
One of the things I laughed at was for sure when he's like, if you're not out here in 10 seconds, like I'll come in there or whatever, or you're a chicken if you don't come out here in 10 seconds. And he like gets to like, he's like 6, and then he like looks at one of his henchmen and he's like 7. I mean, like he can't even like count to 10 or whatever like that. I don't know. I think that's funny to me.
Also love the incompetence of, we're gonna duel tomorrow. We can't. We got the stagecoach robbery tomorrow.
Okay, that part was a bit...
What about Monday? We doing anything Monday?
Especially when they get arrested at the end for the stagecoach robbery. And it's like, well, you just said that in front of the whole town.
Well, you can't arrest someone for not doing something.
I know, but...
But once they do it, it's like, okay, now you said you were going to do it, now it's premeditated, and now...
First degree instead of third degree stagecoach robbery.
Yeah.
Did you guys find it funny that they brought back the principal as the sheriff?
I loved that bit. It was like discipline or whatever. And it's like whatever they're like instilling the value of like discipline or whatever it is. Generations ahead.
I'm surprised that actor didn't also play the 5-year-old, honestly.
I would love to see them try.
That would be insane. Honestly, I would have actually liked it.
Why didn't they just have Christopher Lloyd play his own children at that point? I mean,
probably wouldn't have pointed to his crotch.
I have a question. Is Marty and Doc the most iconic movie duo with 3 or more movies together? To which I could only think of 2 others that could come close. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but
Chewie and Han.
That was the one that I thought of.
Sam and Frodo.
That was the other.
Maybe this is recency bias, but would you consider Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans in that duo?
No.
No, because that's the trio.
It's more ensemble-ish. You know,
but it always comes back to them, and they're like the emotional center. Like, and I understand Thor's also like, but he never has like the emotional relationship or the complex relationship that they have. I was asking. You guys said no, so that's fine.
I would say that. Yeah, I would agree with Zach. That's more of an ensemble, but
Michael Caine and Christian Bale.
Okay, not gonna
in every Christopher Nolan movie.
Woody and Buzz, maybe? I don't know.
That's a good one.
I mean,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
I wouldn't put it above Doc and Marty, though. I think Doc and Marty probably
most
passes
iconic.
Han and Chewie just by virtue of both of them being able to speak English, or any language that's real. I don't want to be biased towards non-English speaking films, but
that was insane.
Speaking Wookiee or whatever, you're playing from a bit of a deficit there.
No, I don't have any pens.
Yeah, they always, with characters like that, you always have to have like one of the characters repeat whatever the nonsense was in the form of a question, like, do I blah blah blah? No, I don't blah 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 blah. Instead of just being like, no, it's like, okay.
Zach, I have a couple more for you.
3PO and R2. I was actually now thinking about with Star Wars, but
Dom and Brian.
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Sleeper pick. I'm not gonna say more iconic, but I do love them together, and I think the fall of the Fast and Furious movies, and I say relatively, I still will see the new one whenever it comes out. I think it peaked with 5 through 7 because that's when they really were emphasizing that relationship. They kind of get back to it in 4, but they're not they're not brothers until 5 through 7. So,
and then Donkey and Shrek.
That's a good one.
That one's gonna be
actually really good.
Zach, this one might hold a special place in your heart. I don't know if you're gonna put it above them. Jay and Silent Bob.
No, I won't put that above them. I mean, they're fun, but
yeah, like I said, I didn't think you would, but I figured.
You kind of have 3 with Gail, Sydney, and Dewey a little bit. But that's, I don't know, it seems a little bit different. Maybe if you localize it to Gale and Dewey, because they just kind of have that's more of like a couple. That's even different. But yeah, I don't know.
Got any other good ones, Cole?
I'm looking.
It's a fun prompt.
Thank you.
Yeah, I liked.
I'm having a good time.
You're having a grand old time, Corey.
What's a grand old flag? Let me just Google. Why don't you ask ChatGPT again, Cole?
I
wasn't gonna bring it up.
I was trying to hear
SpongeBob and Patrick.
I mean, movie. I mean, yeah, they've been in movies, but they're not iconic for their movies, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think Kirk and Spock.
Sure,
that's a really good one, but I mean,
the movie, they have enough movies to where I think that would still count. Whereas no one really cares about the SpongeBob movies beyond that first SpongeBob movie.
I was gonna say, I think they have as many SpongeBob movies with SpongeBob and Patrick as Spock and Kirk have.
I've only seen the first 2 Star Trek movies of those original ones, but then I guess it's still a different Spock and Kirk for the new ones, but...
And then this wouldn't fall under it, but Scooby and Shaggy.
That's also a good one. That one might be the most iconic.
I don't know. I do think it's, yeah, I guess so. I mean, culturally, yeah. If it's movies only, then I'd say Doc and Marty. But I keep fighting not to say Morty. But it's just so inherent now with Rick and Morty.
Farty!
Anything else?
Where does this rank for you in your all-time trilogies? Where does this slide in?
All-time trilogies is hard because I think it peaks early and then just kind of settles in okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't think it needs to just be great after great after great. But the first one, I think elevates it to a level where it puts it higher than it might realistically it should be, honestly. But if it might break the top 10, but I don't think it gets much higher than 10. And I'm trying to think of which ones would be
I think I can tell you where it's around. That might be more interesting of what trilogies is it? Because it's definitely not as good as it's definitely not as good as Lord of
yes or no.
Sure. So Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yes, this is better.
I'm gonna say no.
Corey's trying to rage bait us.
Good. Nice try, Corey.
The prequel trilogy.
See, that's where it's interesting.
Yes.
I'm gonna put this above the prequel trilogy. Too. Yes, I would prefer even though I think the sequels. I am gonna overall say this is a better trilogy because that ending is so damn bad. Well, not just because of that, but that ending to that sequel trilogy really tanks that. Really tanks it.
Yeah, this one also has higher highs than the sequel trilogy.
For sure. Yes, it does. It does. I think I was just going to say that it's interesting that I will acknowledge that Back to the Future 2 and 3 are better than episodes 1 and 2, but I think I would rather just fire up Phantom Menace than Back to the Future 2 or 3. I don't know why. That's some flaw in my design. But yeah.
Okay. Interlinked.
Or you won't be able to answer this one, but Cole, Evil Dead trilogy, the original 3 Evil Deads.
I'm going to say no.
I'm also going to say no. Definitively for me. Original Indiana Jones trilogy.
I'm going to put Indy above.
See, I'm just getting kind of the classics out of the way here, because then we can get to the heart, like the ones that it actually might be in contention with. So, like, I'll say, this is a hot take for me. Dark Knight trilogy.
Dark Knight's better.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the Dark
Knight. I
Knight
might put Back to the Future trilogy overall above the Dark Knight trilogy.
I don't know how you could say that. I think the Dark Knight trilogy just is consistently, like, if you go movie by movie, first one you'd have to give Back to the Future. I think most first movies in a trilogy would go Back to the Future. I think Back to the Future it's just an incredible movie.
I don't know.
But then you have the Dark Knight, which is heads and tails better than Back to the Future Part 2.
Well, I think you go best movie to best movie, I think.
Heads and tails.
Oh, okay. So is Back to the Future better than The Dark Knight?
I think so, yes.
Okay, what's the worst? I don't know. I actually don't know. I actually think
Dark Knight Rises is probably my least favorite of the three, but it's still a really good movie. But also, I actually think the weakest of this one is still a pretty good movie too. I don't know. They're about the same level. That's a tough one for me. I would maybe, I guess, put Dark Knight maybe by a hair. I don't know. That's tough. That could go either way.
I'm not putting Dark Knight over Back to the Future.
All right, here's one. Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. I'm going to say this is a better trilogy than the original
Easily.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'll agree.
I will say easily because out of those three movies, I'd say Black Pearl is
so good.
Close to great, but falls into very good, where the rest of them kind of teeter around good.
I agree on the second part. I do think I think Black Pearl is great. Not as great as the first Back to the Future, I think, but it is great. But I think
like
overall,
I said, close to great lands at very good.
I think World's End is the weakest of the 6 movies if you're collecting the 3 original Pirates and the 3 Back to the Futures. But I mean, that's the one where it's kind of more in line with that. That's what I was trying to get at. Okay, here's a harder one. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one for me right here. The Raimi Spider-Mans, because I do think Back to the Future is better than any of those Raimi Spider-Mans, the first one. But
I need to rewatch those.
I think Spider-Man 3 is weaker than either of these sequels that we talked about today. So you
would put Back to the Future above
I think I would put Back to the Future overall above the Raimi Spider-Mans by a hair as well.
I need to rewatch those. It's been a while since I've seen
love those first two. I love those first two so much. Those got the
Have
sauce.
we covered those?
No, I tried to last time.
I think I've been
said
fighting
no, and that's
for
why we're talking about these.
And then you say no superheroes.
We've been covering a lot of superhero movies recently.
His dogs. This is a fun game though. Wait, I'm not done yet. Let's think of more. Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. I will say Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy overall is maybe by an eyelash better than this.
The Guardians.
You get higher highs from Guardians of the Galaxy than you do the Back to the Future.
No.
Is that what you said, Cole?
I do.
Oh.
Overall, through the span of each.
I know.
That's
I
not
see
what
you're
overall.
saying.
The highest high. I'm struggling here. Are you saying that Guardians of the Galaxy is better than Back to the Future, the first one?
Okay, so we're just comparing the first film in the trilogy.
I'm saying we're saying what is the best of each trilogy, and it was making it sound like you thought the best of the Guardians trilogy is better than the best of the Back to the Future trilogy.
No. Okay. I'm saying overall it's a better trilogy, but
you don't get. I think Back to the Future has higher highs, but I think it has more lows than Guardians of the Galaxy. I think Guardians of the Galaxy all kind of like stays pretty level throughout it, and it's all very good.
I'd bring up Godfather, but I just don't remember enough of the third one, so I'd have to watch. But I'd be shocked if that third one is bad enough to make me put this above that trilogy overall, given how good the first two are.
It's really bad. It's really fucking bad.
Captain America trilogy.
This is better.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this is better as well. Coral, Are you sure that you agree? Didn't you give like you gave Civil War like a 4.75 out of 5, and Winter Soldier
I have
was
that
also
written down.
really
Give me a
up
second.
there.
Yeah,
And
but
I think you were pretty high on the first one too.
Civil War has a 4.75, and he thinks it's better than Dark Knight Rises and Infinity War.
Yeah, I did say that.
I wrote it down.
It's a star and a half better than Brian De Palma's Mission Impossible as well. Let's not forget that.
Do we have anything else that we want to say before we get to things? It's getting a little bit late.
Corey's getting tired.
Yes, I've been a brave boy, but my braveness runs thin. But do you guys have anything else?
No, let's get going.
I like when
On to the awards section.
I like when Doc is surprised and he falls on the organ and he's like playing organ notes as Marty's like, no, I'm here, whatever, and he's like, no, you can't be. It's like he's playing like higher organ notes as he goes down the organ. I wasn't actually good. Go ahead. I don't care.
Corey, you go.
Apparently they strayed off course, and we're fairly certain they're in guerrilla hands.
So why don't you use the regular army? What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
First.
I'm gonna pick Mary Steenburgen.
From
Mary
Step Brothers.
Steenburgen. From Step Brothers, who played Clara. I really liked her.
Married to Ted Danson.
Cole, this isn't a reason, but you mentioned it, you talked about it, how this is a very, very doc-centric story. And because of that, she is a very, very big part of the story. I think if this would have been a movie more about Marty, you wouldn't have gotten as much of her. And I think the movie, it did well to have her as a big character. Even if she made silly choices, like Zach said at the end, you can't really blame it on her, they kind of blame it on the writing a little bit there. But I think she did really well. I thought every single scene she was in with Doc, they had a really good chemistry. I thought she was charming, and it was just another character you could root for in a trilogy that you've seen the same characters time and time again playing multiple versions of themselves, and so you're kind of used to the same characters. To have someone new come in and to have a big effect is impressive, and I think she did have a big effect, and she just increased the enjoyment that I had watching this movie. So Mary Steenburgen is my MVP for Back to the Future Part 3.
Fun.
Zach, you want to go?
Christopher Lloyd, for me. I think, like I said, a very doc-centric movie. I think I was just explaining how much fun I was having with him in that initial scene. All those bits work for me, and then we go back and him being reunited with Marty kind of hits, even though we've seen them together the whole time, but that he hasn't seen him in a while. All that stuff works for me. I love that. All the things we've been saying throughout the entire trilogy for him. Very expressive, very high energy, just a really fun, distinct character, and I think wraps it up really neatly here for Doc as a character, as well as Marty, their relationship and all that. So yeah, Christopher Lloyd, the heart of these films, you could maybe say. Like Tia Dalma.
Who has more heart? Christopher Lloyd in this or Tia Dalma?
You can't make fun of yourself. You can't do that.
Yes, I can. It's called finding humor in my own stupidity. I do it all the time.
See,
what was just heartfelt about her performance?
I was mainly thinking of it in conjunction with the third movie, because I think she's the emotional core of the third movie. I love her in the third movie. Go fuck yourselves.
Just when I was about to say that I think the joke has run its course and we cannot talk anymore about Cole saying Tia Dalma at the heart, you say that she's the emotional core of the third film. She turns into a giant monster at the end and like a pile of crabs. Okay, can't wait. Go ahead, Cole. Who's
the emotional core of this movie, Cole? Why don't you
Michael J. Fox, baby. Michael J. Fox. Love him in the first movie. Didn't really care for his character in the second movie, but I love him in this movie. And, I said this, the man is likable to the max. And that is something that benefits all of these movies. He has charm, he has charisma, and he is beyond iconic. So my MVP of Back to the Future 3 is Michael J. Fox.
On to the reviews section.
Says that they insist on outside opinions.
What kind of opinions?
Well, your kind, not to put too fine a point on it. I mean, let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Doc! What's up with your kid? 3.5 out of 5.
Nice. A simpler movie in a simpler time. BTF P3 is mighty fine by me. 3.5 out of 5.
So you're giving this the same level as Back to the Future Part 2?
Yes.
Setting its feet firmly in the past gives this turbulent trilogy a more grounded sense to wrap things up. While still playing the hits, it brings something new that adds to the overall enjoyment, not just of this movie, but the trilogy itself. 3.5 out of 5.
Wow. That was really, you summed it up
Play
very
the
succinctly.
we
That
all
was well said.
Play the we all agree sounder.
Oh, that was just really well done. It's just, I think that was good. I could read that on Rotten Tomatoes as like an official blurb, and I would actually read it there and be like, that was also really well, like that was just really well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wasn't paying attention. What did Corey say?
You want me to read it again?
Yeah.
On to the rankings. Teen Wolf number 1. I'm gonna go 1, 3, 2.
I'm gonna stick with Corey. 1, 3, 2.
I'm gonna stick with Cole, sticking with Corey. 1, 3, 2. Teen Wolf coming in there at probably number 4 for me. I'm also gonna hit the buzzer as well. I don't need any more Back to the Futures. Not that I would expect one. Put it this way, I'm definitely hitting the buzzer on any reboot. I don't want any like remake reboot. It's not
I was actually
necessary.
thinking that. I'm pretty surprised that we haven't gotten a reboot of this.
Doesn't Bob Gale like own a lot of the rights to this movie?
You know,
I could be wrong on that, but I think like
there's something about people in Hollywood, and I just think they like money, and so I think if there was an opportunity to make money, so I am surprised that it hasn't gotten a reboot or anything, something like that, where it's like a Western and it's Doc's kids taking the train somewhere or something like, I don't know, or Marty's kids and.
Corey, you saying that it reminded me of one other question that I had. We don't need to spend much time on it because I know you're tired.
I'm a sweepy guy.
I'm not gonna say this ranks high up there, but what are the best train scenes in movies? Because I had two that I thought of right away for me, and then I thought of more as I went ahead. But I think the two that I thought of right away are still my top two. I'll give you a hint. I wonder if you could guess. We have covered one of the two, and the one that we've covered, it's the opening scene of that film. Is a train scene.
Last Crusade.
Well done, Cole. Well done, Cole. 10 points for Cole.
I was gonna say Daniel Craig's train scene.
Ooh, see, that was another one I thought of later. That is a really good one. There's two train scenes in Skyfall, because there's the opening scene, which is the more trainy train scene. They're fighting on top of the train and all that, and then it has a great ending there. But also like the scene where he's like tracking Silva, and they don't know if he got on the train or not in the tube, and then like Q's like, Bond, get on the train, and the train's already moving, and he's just like, oh, of course. Like that part's really good too. But the other one I was thinking, we were just talking about it, Spider-Man 2. I think that train scene is that's probably the best part of that movie that I think is also great.
What about the Polar Express?
No. That movie makes me uncomfortable.
What about
Good Soga though, because same director as these. What'd you say?
What about The Fugitive?
I don't remember the train scene from The Fugitive, but I've only seen it once.
I don't remember it. That was one that was.
I don't think I've ever seen The Fugitive.
You should see The Fugitive.
I like the train scene from Scream 6, but I wish the payoff had a little bit more stakes, given that it's, that character is fine at the end in like on painkillers and just making jokes. Mission Impossible series has two train scenes, the end of the first one and the end of the seventh one. I have a lot of fun at the end of the Dead Reckoning when the cars are moving slowly off to the edge of the track.
What about Final Destination? That train scene.
The end of the third one?
Yeah.
That's a good ending. Yeah.
Corey, did you just look up train scenes in movies?
No, I did remember that one. That one didn't pop up. I was looking up the Scream 6 train scene because I forgot what it was, but I remember.
Speed has an ending on a train.
It's
pretty.
One.
What about Source Code? Either of you seen Source Code?
I've not.
I think we've run the course on this one.
Run the track.
On to the post-credit scene.
You're still here. It's over. Go home. Oh, you're expecting a teaser for Deadpool 2. Well, we don't have that kind of money. You expecting Sam Jackson show up with an eye patch and a saucy little leather number? Go.
Next up on the podcast, we'll be covering the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Nice.
So the next episode will be Spider-Man 2009?
No.
2001.
Oh.
Might be 2.
What am I thinking
It's
of?
2002, I think.
Where the fuck did you get that?
Okay, well, I don't
Nine,
know if
nine
it
is
deserved...
well, I don't know. That was pretty bad, Corey. But
Okay.
that was like a year away from the first Andrew Garfield one, so that was pretty.
That was
You were a little off.
2011.
Yeah, you were a little off there. That's okay.
That's okay. That's why I asked. I was asking for clarification, and you guys yelled at me. So we're going to be covering Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2002. 2001, but that's me crowdsourcing. I apologize. So stay tuned for that. But until then, just keep watching movies.
Saw it together. It was good.
Okay.
Corey wants to go to bed. Bye.
It's 2 hours. Bye.